Welcome to another segment of Handy Andy. This is going to be a special segment today. On this kind of segment, we are talking about model railroading. And what better time of year to be doing model railroading than at Christmas time? Christmas is just a fabulous time of year for both kids, young and old. And model railroading is something that's been around for a long, long time. I know myself, I started model railroading when I was just a youngster, being one of 10 kids. My dad, bought me my first HO train set, and now I have lots of train sets, from the N gauge to the HO to the O gauge, from Lionel to MTH. And today we're down at the Library Volunteer Fire Company, and this is a model railroading show. And on this show itself, as you can see, we have hundreds of people here. We have hundreds of vendors here, and what they do, they just show what their model railroading hobby is. And this can be a very expensive hobby, but with the hobby, these vendors, they're showing all their different cars, all their different trains, and then we just have the general public in here walking around seeing what they have, what they want, what they don't have, what their wish list is. A lot of people walking around with pretty deep bucket lists of what they want to do on the model railroading. So I hope you enjoy this segment. It is a little bit different. I'm not going to be showing any power tools. We're not going to be showing any how-tos. We're just going to be talking fun stuff. We're going to be talking model railroading. And I hope you enjoy the segment and have a very Merry Christmas.
I've been at this since I was about 8 years old, and I've got 60 years in the hobby.
Since we were born.
When I was little, I had the Thomas train set, and now I have like a little remote control one.
Okay. How about you?
I have the same thing, but I have one of the little trains, you may control.
First train set was a 2026 freight set. It was bought by my parents, which later on they bought me a set called the Texas Special set, which basically that got me into the hobby, plus the fact that I used to get money occasionally for Christmas, birthdays, and stuff like that. So set money aside and bought trains with the money that I had. Although my dad used to always try to talk me into giving him the money and sticking it in my college fund.
Did you grow up with trains?
Yeah,
So you played with trains your whole life?
pretty much.
Do you remember your first train set?
Still have it.
Do you? What
Yeah.
was it?
It was a Lionel Erie switcher set with 3 cars.
Oh, I think I was probably 4 or 5, 6 years old.
Do you remember your first set?
My first set was a 4x8 sheet of plywood. My dad built a model railroad layout, and we still have part of that in the basement.
You've been playing with trains your whole life too?
Since I was 2.
Since you were 2?
Yeah,
Do you
my
remember
first
your first train?
old 226 black steam engine put under a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Then when I was about 7 years old, Lionel came out with the Santa Fe F3, the silver and red one. And I just couldn't wait to get home from church and rip through it. And it was the best day of my life.
And you still have those?
Oh, yes.
Okay, what's your favorite kind of engine? Do you like the diesel or the steam?
Steam.
You like the steam?
I like the big steam, real
Okay,
big
the
steam.
big steam.
Yeah,
Do you have a favorite engine?
big boy.
Okay.
Challenger, FEF.
I like the diesels myself, all the modern stuff.
Okay, what's your favorite diesel engine?
The DD40, the big jack. It's like 2 engines together, only in one.
And that's still the O gauge?
That's O gauge, Lionel, and MTH makes it.
It's a great hobby for people. It's a great hobby for kids. Today, a lot of the stuff has got remote systems with it, where there's a handheld remote, because all the kids today and a lot of the adults are used to the remotes. It's all those memories. You think about the world today, everything goes way too fast. And the only thing that you end up with is memories. So you want those memories for the future. Put it underneath your Christmas tree. Let it run. Get the kids interested in this stuff, because that's the future of the hobby for everybody.
I'm the one that got this thing started. 8 years ago, I became interested in model trains after teaching school for 34 years, and I was retired. And I remember when I was a kid, and I used to fool around with these trains all the time, and it just all came back to me when I retired. And I was challenged to find all Pittsburgh cars, and that's how I got into this. I wanted to. I'm a vendor selling all my extra stuff that I have, but that's where my interest was. And I remember growing up as a kid, riding on the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, seeing the Union Railroad over in West Mifflin, and I just got intrigued by all that, and that's my interest. And the show, I listened to people, and they talked about these shows. Number one, tables were too expensive. Number two, vendors didn't ever get anything. They didn't get a cup of coffee when they came, and I thought it would be fair to offer the vendors something for a small amount for a table. We give them free breakfast, which nobody does in the whole business, and I just love doing that, and everybody loves coming back here. They get a chance to socialize before they start selling, and it makes me feel good. The show, this is our third year. We have about 150 tables, and I would say about 60 to 70 vendors. Last year was 1,200 people, and the year before was about within 30 people. We're about halfway there already, and it's 11 o'clock. So my guess is that we'll have close to that. I enjoy doing this. I still have all my trains on display, and I like that. I like the people. I like talking and dealing with the people, and I think that's more important, that they're satisfied when they come to a train show.
Model railroading is a great hobby. It's a good hobby for people that are retired and have got all those memories from the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, all the way up to today. Basically, they need to get to a hobby store just like ours and go look at what's there. Find something that you like, something that is going to hold your interest or bring back old memories. Brady's Train Layout is in Greensburg, underneath the bypass of Route 30 and 119. It's called Main Street. If you want to get there, you can come up Route 70, straight to 119, and it'll run you right into Brady's Train Layout. Brady's been in business probably close to 30 years now. There's a layout there. There's very knowledgeable people there. We deal with internet sales and everything. So anytime you wish to come and visit us, we have a repair station there. We can repair trains. Consequently, this time of the year, it's kind of busy, so you can't just drop something off and say, I need it tomorrow. So anytime you wish, come to Brady's Trains.
It can be cheap or expensive. Both manufacturers make starter sets, and that's what they start with.
Okay.
Something that's reasonable, has track, transformer, you know.
And a starter set does what for them?
We'll see if they're interested in going any further. That way you don't put out, it's about $300 to $400 for a nice starter set. And if they like it, then they can always add on.
HO stands for half of O gauge. Okay? And the HO is basically a product that was brought out because of the fact of during the 60s and 70s, there wasn't a room in the houses for the big trains. So they went to the HO because you could get more of a train layout in an HO layout than you can in an O gauge layout. O gauge trains are made for kids. They can handle the HO trains. It's more difficult to put them on a track. It's harder to keep them on a track. And basically, an O gauge train will outlast any HO train. I like the O gauge. I always did like the O gauge. And I have little or no preference between Lionel, Flyer, Markland, Ives. They all made great trains, okay? A lot of the tin stuff that is lithographed is very popular, but with the new Lionel, the way they've manufactured the stuff, anything that was previously made in the 50s, the 40s, and the 30s, they've remade. So it's a great hobby. It's a hobby that you can meet a lot of really nice people with and have a hell of a lot of fun with.
Merry Christmas, Bethel Park. I'm Dave Cable, the director of BPTV, and I'm here to read for you the holiday classic, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even, Oh, hey George.
I'm not George. I'm the ghost of Christmas present.
I don't know, you look an awful lot like my volunteer George.
Well, you are gravely mistaken. I am a ghost.
All right then, Mr. Ghost of Christmas Present. Why don't you come up here on the hot seat and explain to me why you had to come in here and interrupt my holiday special?
I would just like to wish everybody in Bethel Park a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year, and to remind you all to watch all the great holiday programming right here on BPTV.
You know, you didn't have to pretend to be a ghost to come in here and say that.
But I am a ghost.
So, do you think you could look a little more festive?
Sure.
You know, that's not too bad.
You should see some of my other tricks I got up my sleeve.
My name is Daniel Devick.
Okay, and Daniel, where are you from? Where do you represent?
We are from the Western Pennsylvania Model Railroad Museum, which is located up in Gibsonia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, what's the address?
The address on our building is 5507 Lakeside Drive. We are right on the corner of 910 and Lakeside Drive in Gibsonia.
Okay, do you have a phone number? Or
Yes,
website?
we do. We have website, phone number. Let me read that off to you.
There you go.
The phone number is area code 724-444-6944. Website, just look up WPMRM.org, and that should lead you right to it.
Okay, so what can you tell us about your museum? When did it first start?
Okay, well, the organization started in 1938. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. We've been up in our building in Gibsonia since 1989. This is our 26th annual holiday show. Every year we add a little bit more to the layout. It's over 4,000 square foot HO display, modeled from Pittsburgh to Cumberland, Maryland in the 50s. We'll have 20 to 25 trains running on there at any given time. It's computer operated. You can see steamers, early diesel locomotives, passenger trains, freight. It's a continually evolving layout. We have model area of downtown Pittsburgh with the Smithfield Street Bridge. Streetcars, trolleys still running over the bridge. We have a model of J&L Steel, Glenwood, Hazelwood area, all the way into McKeesport. And again, down through the mountains, completely down to Cumberland, Maryland on the original Baltimore and Ohio Railroad line. And we also follow what was originally the Western Maryland Railroad, but on our railroad we call it the Mon Valley system.
How long have you been there?
I've been a member there for nearly 17 to 18 years.
Okay, is this a volunteer?
It is all volunteer. Nobody collects a paycheck down there at all.
Okay. What can you? You said everything is HO
on
the scale of it, or
HO on upstairs. We have a lower level of the building, and that has O gauge display. It's a 14 by 20 O gauge. There's a set of Brio for little kids to run. We have a 4x8 Thomas train set. Again, these are hands-on layouts. They can push the buttons, pull the levers. There's a little N-scale display. We have display cases all around the facility down there with railroad paraphernalia, as much as a classic model railroad equipment. And the outside, we have railroad paraphernalia such as signaling, bells. From time to time, we may have a rail car parked down there, a small maintenance car, air horns on display occasionally. So it's always something different going on down there. And it's something geared from, if you're 3 years old to 103 years old, there's something for you to see.
What's your favorite train that runs there?
I like the steam trains.
Okay.
I like seeing the old passenger trains run. I enjoy doing the restoration on a lot of the railroad signals and stuff that we have outside. I kind of like doing electrical work, so I go from the HO scale to the full real scale. I do have about a 14 by 20 area in the basement that's an HO layout. It's kind of freelanced. Some of it is just general model railroading, and one little area of it I modeled after a little area where I grew up, and I built all the buildings, the train station, and it was kind of neat to actually have a replication of the actual area. That's the way our museum is built, again, replicating local communities.
So what's the hours of operation?
Hours of operation? No. Well, I'm going to read this off to you here.
That's fine.
We do Friday nights 6 to 9. Saturdays and Sundays are 11 to 5. And if you check our website, we do have some expanded holiday hours. Like, for example, the day after Thanksgiving, we are 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And one of our other long days is Friday, December 27th of 2013, which is 11 to 9 p.m. as well.
Now, are you open year-round or just
No,
holidays?
only about 30 days since it's all volunteer.
Okay.
And that is the holiday season. That's when we have our primary crowd.
Very nice.
So,
anything else you'd like to tell us?
no, I'd just like to welcome everybody to come on out to the North Hills and check out one of the finest train displays in the region.
Wow, look at all this holiday program we have this year at BPTV. How am I going to find enough help to cover all of it? Oh, hey, Ghost of Christmas, George.
No, it's a Ghost of Christmas present, Dave.
Either way, this is not a good time right now.
Why is that?
I have all these holiday programs to cover and I don't have nearly enough volunteers.
I can help.
What can you do? You're a disembodied spirit.
Remember that trick I showed you last year?
Yeah?
Watch this.
Ta-da! Wow, this could solve all of my volunteer problems. Why didn't you tell me you could do that?
You didn't ask.
Well, while I'm asking, how many of you can there be at one time?
As many as you need, Dave. As many as you need.
Maybe I'll just write Santa Claus a letter and ask him for help.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from everyone here at BPTV.
There's a group of us, about 10 Pittsburgh independent high railers. That we go to Christmas shows, we go to Kennywood. We have a big setup at Kennywood right now. They do their Festival of Lights. And we do a lot of fire halls. You know, basically they feed us.
How big is this layout here that we're looking at?
32 by 22. With different members own different pieces. Then we put it together like a whatever space is available at the shows. And this is actually pretty small for us. We can do a pretty big layout.
How long is this organization or group been together?
Probably 12 years now.
How long did it take you to put this together?
About 3 hours.
What kind of trains are you running on this?
Lionel, Mike's Train House, and Williams.
Okay. Do you have a favorite?
Lionel's my favorite. The lake is made out of two-part epoxy, which you paint the plywood and you pour it on, and that's only like this 1/8 of an inch thick at most. Okay. And the scenery is made out of styrofoam, and we use the pink styrofoam. You don't want to use blue or any other color, and you can just take a dental pick, and you just pick at it. It gives you that rock.
So these were solid piece styrofoams,
Mm-hmm.
not the
That's
spray foams.
No, it's actually like 3-4 pieces glued together on top of each other, and you pick the different edges to make it look like rock. Then you paint them with paint that you can buy at Michael's or something like a folk art paint or something.
Okay. How about the boats and the trucks and so forth?
Those came from mostly train shows, like we're here today. You know, I walk around and buy from, but I see it. You can get it sometimes at Walmart if you look, or something like Big Lots or something like that. The trees are commercially bought. I buy a lot of them from Scenic Express out on Route 30, and he supplies all the grass, the foliage that's coming down over the hills, and
so all that is as is out of the bags.
Yeah, that's shake the box we call it.
How about building the actual trestles that we see some of the trestles around? They look like actual timbers.
That's actually wood that I cut on a table saw, and the dowel rods I bought and just stained them and glued them, nailed them together to make the trestle.
Okay. This area with the lake and the trestle, how long did it take you to put this stuff together?
This one took me, start to finish, probably 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks?
Yeah. I work fast.
Okay. Yeah, the trestles, what can you tell us? How did you make these?
These were made out of Luan plywood, which is 10 mil. It's real thin, about 3/16.
Okay.
And I cut 4 pieces out and glued 2 of them together to make it a 1/4 inch, because if you don't, it's too weak. And then glued them together, made the sticks, and put it on a base I cut out of 3/4 plywood. It's pretty strong. It'll hold 100 pounds.
Okay. How long did it take you to make one of these trestles?
This, probably 4 hours.
Okay.
To make both of them.
So everything is just lumber put together except for the track. The track's the only thing?
This was cut out of one piece, so that I did, because going to shows, if you have too many loose pieces, you'll have loose pieces. So I cut out of Luan so that it's a lot stronger.
David, what can you tell us about this setup here?
Well, this is my rendition of Roswell, but the interior crash site. It's made out of styrofoam again with sand and gravel as glued on pink styrofoam. And the trees are commercially bought, and it's one of my favorites. I get a lot of comments on it.
Okay.
It's kind of neat.
And then this is just regular sand that you bought and glued everything on.
And all the cars and that are like, store-bought pretty much.
How long did it take you to find the alien in the spaceship?
Actually, not too long. I got it from a hobby shop up in Cranberry.
Nice.
He has a whole section dealt to aliens. I had to buy 2 kits to get the alien, though.
Yeah.
He had them in a different kit.
So even the cacti, you were able to find all these stores?
All from Scenic Express, yeah. He has quite a selection of stuff.
No, I've never seen this scene anywhere I've been. This is unique. All right, David, besides this train layout here, I understand you have a big train layout at Kennywood. What can you tell us about your set at Kennywood?
Kennywood, this is their 3rd year. They do a festival of lights, and there's lots of things for the kids to do. There's campfires and singing and, all kinds of stuff, s'mores. And then we have a train display in their cafeteria area that it's somewhat more Christmas-oriented in some ways. And we get a lot of visitors. It'll be bigger than this. And
so it's in their cafeteria?
It's in their cafeteria. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you'll like it. It opens up the day after Thanksgiving for the next 4 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Only at night because of the lights.
Very nice.
But you might want to come the second weekend. First weekend's Madhouse.
Packed.
Yeah. And that's when I get on DC. I put trains up under the tree in the Capitol building. You know, when the president lights the tree?
Yes.
There's LGB trains. I belong to a club down there that we put up under there. They don't show it on TV much, but there's 14 trains. It's a big layout.
Very nice.
It's in the grass, so if you're in DC, check that out.
That's it. Congratulations. Good for you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Pittsburgh Independent High Railers, 412-400-0596.
All right, thank you for tuning in to this special segment of Handy Andy. It's a little different from our normal home improvement stuff, but this is not just my hobby, but as you can see from this show, this is a hobby for thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. A lot of us grew up with a train set underneath our Christmas tree as we were little, and we continue that tradition with our families we have now. So I had it growing up, my kids have had it growing up, and I'm sure when I have grandkids, my grandkids are going to have the train set. So it's a fun hobby, it's an educational hobby. There's everything from the sports teams to the regionals, from the N gauge to the HO gauge to the O gauge. It's a lot of fun. Yes, it could get expensive, but just starting with the starter sets, the ready-to-run sets that you heard about, anyone can get into model railroading for $200 or less. So enjoy the hobby, pick up a train set, and enjoy the Christmas season. Thank you.